Hi everyone. Two groups of people are really loud right now in the AI space. Group 1, oh, AI will replace all the developers. Type what you want and the app is done. Software engineering is practically dead. Then we've got group 2. These are the people who have some experience in software engineering. And then I hear, oh, AI is useless. It hallucinates, writes buggy code. It can't do anything serious. I can do it better and much faster. So in group 1 are people who don't know anything about software engineering. And in group 2, we've got people who probably know something, but maybe are not very good or try to gatekeep for whatever reason. Maybe we've got some geniuses, but probably not. So I've been doing strength training for 20 years. Online, everyone benches 200 kilos, but that does not really match my reality from dozens of gyms over the years, not even close. And the same thing with coding. I've been in software development for over 10 years and I've yet to meet all the developers who write perfect bug-free code every time. They exist on Twitter and Reddit, but not in real code bases. So for everyone whose ego is not hurt right now and you didn't rage quit the video, I want to target both groups, group 1 and group 2, to get better results with AI. In this case, real vibe coding with Claude code. Because in my opinion, I'm convinced that AI is quite capable today. But it's not magic, it's a tool that requires structured thinking. So that's what this video is about. Not prompting tricks, not which tool is the best. I want to show you how to think about building software with AI step by step. Whether you are a developer or you've never written a line of code before. I will walk through everything with a concrete project in mind. A portfolio website with a project showcase and a password protected admin panel for adding new projects. Okay, so in my workflow, we've got 12 phases, but the first one is actually phase 0 without any AI tool. So before you use any AI tool, grab a paper or Figma or Paint, it doesn't really matter. Sketch out what you see in your head, what screens exist, what can the user do with each one. So my portfolio app has got 5 screens. A homepage with project cards, a detailed page for the projects, an admin login, an admin dashboard listing all the projects, an admin form for creating new ones with image upload. So nothing very fancy, but I've got something concrete. So most people skip this and go straight to the AI. That's mistake number 1. You think visually, but the AI thinks in text. Your sketch bridges these two worlds. Okay, after phase 0, we are now in phase 1. That is the talk to the AI like a colleague phase. So in this case, you just don't want to say, build me a portfolio app. That's like walking into an architect's office and saying, build me a house. So what house, for what kind of family, what do you exactly want? So instead you explain your problem. So in this case, we want a portfolio website where I can show my projects. We've got visitors and now we can ask anything else in mind, any suggestions. Let's just talk. Don't code anything. So we just want to discuss with the AI until we are satisfied with our plan. So a few things to think about. And we can now decide what we want, what we don't want, like the authentication approach. So that can be that simple because we don't have multiple users. That is correct. We can just use a hard-coded admin and password and don't need a token-based login. That is overkill for our system. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yes, full CRUD, multiple pages. And this is something that I also like about Claude, that we get this answer. Yeah, we keep it simple. And now it continues with making suggestions. So how do we want the image gallery? In this case, I would like a grid, predefined tag list. And yeah, it doesn't really matter because it's just a showcase. But this is the workflow that I like. So discussing with Claude. Let's keep it minimal. And do it with React. So that is something that I would normally discuss later, but it already makes suggestions in this case. Okay, so that is now the next step. We want the AI, so that is phase 2. Let the AI suggest a tech stack. In this case, it already did that by itself. So we want a front end, in this case with React, and the back end Node and Express. To be honest, I don't like that. I want a Python backend. This is the language that I am familiar most with. So now we can discuss back and forth. Okay, no Flask is that simple. I like fast API, please. Okay, so let's keep that. Okay, so now we've got a fast API backend. And database, we can just type something like this. So database SQLite, so a local file on our machine. And now the AI suggests that we are ready to start. But I think starting directly with code is a mistake. So we want to go in phase 3. So we want to split everything into features. And this is a core. This is where most people fail. You don't just start, because the AI tries to build everything at once. It loses track, it makes mistakes, it gets a mess. So what we want is to let the AI break this project down in independent features, separate front-end and back-end features. Each one has to be testable on its own, back-end and front-end. And again, just write, don't create code. So this is phase 3. After that, we've got different features. Okay, we now got our features, but we still don't want the AI to code. We want to ask for best practices and patterns. That is essential, especially for non-coders. You don't know anything about software patterns, but you actually don't need to know. You just need to know that they exist and ask for them. So you can ask, what are best practices and common patterns for this kind of app? Folder structure, architecture, and security. So in this case, it should work out. Best patterns for the backend, you can see it uses router. That is definitely a good way. It uses models, schemas, and a config.py. If you don't know what that is, it doesn't really matter. The AI will know about that, and it has to make sure that later Claude Code gets this information in context. So we have to make sure that we talk about these patterns before, otherwise it may not use it. Okay, so we've got our database model and we've got the front-end architecture, security, general best practices, environment variables. In my opinion, that looks good. Okay, that looks quite good, but we still don't want to start. Next step is to let the AI validate the data model. Data models are always quite important, so I always make sure that the data model is explained separately. So explain every table and field in plain language. Why is it there, and are we missing anything? So we also want that, just to get some more information later for the next step. I really like that. It even shows everything visually. So now you can read that. And this is also something, if you are not familiar with coding, that will not make any sense for you. But in my opinion, that looks good. We've got 4 separated tables and everything is explained. So that is enough. So after creating the output, it even considers that we may miss a status field. So we can add that if you want. So yes, let's add that. So we can iterate over the data model again. Let's add that. I think the AI will understand. Okay, so now that looks better. So Claude wants to start, but we are still not there. What we want is to do the following. We want to create a detailed spec.md file. Include all of the features, the tech stack, the data model with all fields, every API endpoint with inputs and outputs, folder structure, patterns we discussed, and the testing strategy. So this will be a very detailed plan that we will pass to Claude Code. This may take some time, but that is the context that we will give to Claude. Okay, so that is our spec.md file, and we are now in phase 7. We have to read and adjust the spec. We are now the project manager. Do we have every functionality that we want? If no, we will ask for an update of the spec. Otherwise, we can keep it. Let's say we want an upload limit for the files or anything else, then we could ask for that and ask the AI to update the spec. If everything is fine, then we can go to phase 8. That is a fresh review. So in this case, we can just copy that and create a new chat without the complete discussion. So we just copy and paste the complete markdown, and now we can ask, look at this critically. What's missing? What's inconsistent? What would cause problems? So we do that with a fresh context window to prevent any biases that appeared in the chat history. So we can see that the AI identifies something. Token storage contradicts itself. We got some missing pieces like no logout endpoint. That's totally correct. No pagination and no protection. We can say, okay, we don't need it because it's just a portfolio website. But if you don't know anything about software engineering, just say, okay, fine. update the spec.md and return it. So this is something that I can do again and again. So you will copy the output and start a new chat again and again until you're satisfied. And the AI normally at some point will just answer, no, that's fine. You can go and start with Claude Code. Okay, so let's say we are now done and happy with the spec.md. Now we can switch from the chat UI to Visual Studio Code. This is where I installed Claude Code. I will use the Visual Studio Code extension. So that is my chat window. And in this case, I want to perform total vibecoding. So I will bypass all of the permissions. So the AI can use the terminal, can update files, and can run everything. That is totally not safe because it can potentially execute dangerous commands. But for vibecoders, that is the way to go. Okay, so next step is that we just paste the markdown here, but we still don't want the AI to run loose. What we want is the environment setup. So if you don't know anything about programming, this can be quite hard. So what you can do is you just copy paste the spec. So we can say I'm a complete beginner, set up the environment and everything else that I need for this project. Set up the version control here too. Don't code anything. Just set up the environment. Set up what you are able to do up front. So this cannot really break anything because the project is still empty. So now it executes some bash commands. Probably will create a virtual environment and something else. All tools are available. Let me start, create a plan. Here you can see it will create the Git repository and create the folder structure. So we can see it also uses a to-do list. And yeah, this is set up by default, but it helps if we got a good spec.md file to create a good to-do list to make everything sequentially and independent from each step. Okay, so we now got our project skeleton. Now we can again copy and paste the markdown and just type implement this now. So this will now definitely take its time and it will start to understand the project, and after that it will implement everything in one shot. Okay, so here we are. We can see that Claude tells us that everything was built and tested successfully. We've got our backend, we've got our front end, the endpoints, and we also get the commands how to run it. But normally what I do is that I will let in another step the AI review that code. So this is something that I always do. So just type review this code, look for bugs, security issues, and missing edge cases, directly fix it. So we again let the AI bypass permissions, and it will now explore the code base again because it's a fresh session. It doesn't know anything about it. And then after that, try to fix it. So again, this is an iterative process that you can perform multiple times. Okay, so we can see that this directly works. We've got no coarse middleware. This means the frontend can't talk to the backend. That is a major bug. And it was able to identify that. So we can see the changes in our code base, so before and after. So we can inspect that, review that, but normally that works quite well when it tries to fix it. Okay, we can see that it fixed 10 bugs, which is nice. And we can now ask execute the commands to start the application. Okay, we can see backend is running on localhost port 8000 and frontend is running on localhost port 5173. Okay, so let's try it out. We can check the backend at localhost port 8000. We can see we've got different routers for the projects, for authentication, for the admin panel, and also to set tags. So we can get the tags and set new tags, which is nice. And this is how it looks like. In the front end, we can see we've got 3 projects. We can select it by different tags, and we can go in our admin panel and just log in. Here we can see we can add a new project, which is nice. We can cancel and go back. So that also looks like it works. We can update an existing project. We can upload images. We can add new tags. We can change the tags, which is cool. And we can also delete projects if we want to. We also get asked if we are sure to delete this project, which is a best practice. We can see the verification, and of course we can also log out. That is the feature that was added again. So if we go back, we can see that only 2 projects are left. So in my opinion, that project is pretty nice for, let's say, 15 minutes of work. So the TLDR of this video is you don't need to know how to code, you need to know how to think. So the AI can't do anything. People throw vague ideas into a box and expect magic. That does not work. But the AI replaces developers also have no idea. Those people don't have maintained a real system or dealt with actual security. So the truth is, AI is a powerful tool that needs a blueprint. So someone who breaks problems down, defines boundaries, asks the right questions and makes decisions. That is you. You are the architect. AI is the construction crew. But a crew without a blueprint builds the wrong thing. So structure beats syntax. The plan makes a difference, not the prompt. So thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.